of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
President Honeychurch,
Here.
Trustee Cargo Reed,
Here.
Trustee Kara, Trustee Wynn Greer,
Here.
Trustee Thurston, Trustee Young, Trustee Boyce,
Here.
Student Trustee Rodriguez.
Should be joining us later. The next item is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second?
I second that motion. Oh.
So if been moved and seconded, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. There are no requests to speak on items in closed session. So we'll move into closed session and resume the regular meeting at 7 p.m. Josh Scott here? Well, it's 7 o'clock. It's time to reconvene the regular meeting. And first is report of action in closed session. There was no action in closed session. Now it's time for comments on from members of the public, and there are no requests to speak, so we'll move on to reports. First of all, the Associated Students of Solano College, I think Dr. Gabriela Ballesteros is presenting the report in the absence of the student trustee. Am I right? So go ahead. Good evening.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening, Governing Board. My name is Dr. Gabriela Ballesteros. I'm the new Director of Student Development and Engagement here on campus. I'm excited to be in this position and work with student leaders and all of our amazing student organizations. A little bit about me. I'm originally from San Francisco, but grew up most of my life here in Fairfield, so I love this city. I attended San Francisco State University and got my bachelor's in communication studies and my master's in communication studies. And then I attended Sacramento State University to do my doctorate in educational leadership. So I'm a proud product of the CSUs and also a proud product of student organizations. As someone who was heavily involved in all elements, doctorate, undergrad, and master's, I'm a firm believer in student involvement and the effects that it has on our students in regards to not just their own personal growth, but their growth within the classroom as well and retention at any institution. I fell in love with student involvement at a young age, and I thought to myself, is this a real job? And I learned from amazing mentors and advisors that it was. I previously worked at San Francisco State as their student life program coordinator, advised around 250 student organizations. I was there for 3 years. And then most recently, I worked at UC Davis as the sorority fraternity life advisor for 3 years as well in their Center for Student Involvement. So over the past 7 years, I've worked a lot with student organizations in developing programming, educational programming, risk management, conflict resolution, as well as my own advising lens as well of working with such a variety of students. Implementing new procedures, structures, planning robust programming that surrounded cultural competency, conflict resolution, restorative justice, and healing circles, and outreach to amplify engagement on a campus. So I've been at Solano for 2 months, and it's been a very busy 2 months. So since being here in our office, the Office of Student Development and Engagement, I have a long list of short and long-term goals, but a few of the things I've been working on most recently is creating a student organization handbook for our students, student leaders to have to understand the processes of just existing on campus, how to plan an event, how to fundraise, how to work with your advisor, how to promote and do outreach. It doesn't exist wholeheartedly in the office, so I want to remove like those barriers that a lot of our students are experiencing since coming in that I've heard from them like, I don't know how to do this or X, Y, and Z. As well as developing like an advisor's training and guidelines for them as well to just streamline communication. As a communications background, that's my biggest thing. Let's all be on the same page. And fundraising for organizations, how can they become self-sustaining? Of course, utilizing the club seed money, but also how can they continue to continue to do their events, but also learn, like, you are running an organization, like you're managing a budget and, you know, X, Y, and Z. So how can they bring revenue into that? Like I said, I'm working to centralize this process and looking at also the lack of transition that a lot of the student leaders experience. So building in a training for them as well when they come into these roles, knowing how to do their job essentially. And I feel that we're planning to launch this new handbook in the spring semester. And we're also going to start, and we have already, starting to phase out the word clubs. We're going to refer to them as student organizations. That's how I've always learned to call them. And also it aligns more with like the collegiate level of student organizations. If they do decide to transfer, that's how they're referred to at four-year institutions. Additionally, I'm hopefully planning to bring a platform to this campus. I'm in the very, very early phases of meeting with the platform and, you know, talking budgets and what that would look like, bringing it to campus with all the policies and steps that need to be taken. It is called Campus Groups. We use that at UC Davis. A lot of institutions utilize it. It's essentially a hub, kind of a similar-esque to Facebook. And student organizations are able to create their own platforms, put pictures, their mission, contact information, their social media, and also departments and programs can utilize it as well. It has a master calendar feature. You can put your events, you can RSVP, pre-surveys and post-assessment surveys. You can track data on there. You can run forms. And it's anyone who has a Solano email is able to access it, which is great because it is sold to the community. And I have noticed a lot of lack of just knowing about things that are going on campus and different programs that we have. So like SOAR could have a page and Puente could have a page. And I feel like it would really revolutionize like students knowing of what is available to them at Solano and resources that are available for them. And I've been in a lot of talks with VP Neely and Dean Watson-Perez about it. So it is at the very beginning phase, but I'm hoping that's something we can bring here to really revitalize student life and just student knowledge of our campus. Also, a fun project is the 1400 building refresh. We've had a meeting with the KI Furniture Company and designer, and we've gotten a mock-up of a design. It's beautiful. And we're working with facilities as well. They've been great helping us and just seeing how we can make the building a little more modern, but also I want students to come there not only to eat lunch, but to study and have conversations. And student organizations feel like they want to come there and have impromptu gatherings at either part of the cafeteria. So that's been a great project as well. We're working on the budget for that additionally. I've also been focusing on how to create collective Heritage Month celebrations that are really inclusive. I'm also really big on people not feeling like they have to over-program or feel tokenized in that element as well. So we've had a really successful Heritage Months for Latin Heritage Month. ANAPI has planned an amazing Philam Month, and we're collaborating on some of those events. And right now we're working on Native American Heritage Month, which we have some really exciting events in the works, and we're excited to drop that calendar. And last but not least, ASSC. It's been a really busy semester with our ASSC. We're continuing to actively recruit. When I started, there were only 6 members. I'm happy to say we're now at 12, so we've doubled in 2 months. They're continuing. Some of our recent recruits are actually from the Vacaville campus, and we're continuing we have 1 pending application and just doing any recruitment efforts that we can. They've been focusing on front-facing programs within the community to show, hey, we're ASSC, we exist, this is what we do. We've also been working on their workroom in the 1400 building, just refreshing that as well. We had an ASSC retreat, which was great, and our overall theme of the year is kind of this rebranding and transformation of what student government is and can be at this campus. The student leaders are super ignited to enact change and be the voice for all students. They're also learning to develop their own budget strategies, which has been really fun to watch them engage in this. We are trying to maximize the budget to fund all of their ideas with a smaller budget this academic year, but I think it's really teaching them how to budget properly. We're going to have a savings account, so that's really exciting. And we had our first ICC retreat, our Interclub Council retreat today, and we had 30 student leaders attend, and it was great. We talked everything from building a strong student organization foundation, fundraising. We did some leadership case studies, and we also talked about the importance of documentation and event planning. We're working towards a Rock the Vote event to talk about the different props that are going to be on the vote coming up in November. And we also will be at the Vallejo campus on November 4th, tabling and passing out resources as they are a voting poll place. Couldn't think of the word, apologies. And yeah, as I wrap up, I just want to thank you for your time and support of ASSC. I know some of you have attended the meetings. Super appreciative of that and getting to know you all. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in these co-curricular activities that are vital for our students to find that sense of belonging. And at the end of the day, retention for Solano and hopefully whatever their next steps are. So I'm excited to continue to expand student development and engagement in ASSC. And I'm always happy and open for suggestions and ideas. And I'm happy to be here at Solano. So thank you.
All right, thanks very much for your presentation and welcome to
you.
Solano Community College.
Thank you.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Wonderful. I think that's great. Can we put in things like exit interviews for students? And just kind of like a reply card if they have a problem or something that they can drop off. I mean, just to get students' voice heard instead of us telling them. Maybe they need to tell us a lot more what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, what we can do better.
Yeah.
I've mentioned an exit interview for staff as well as students, and I think that's really important that students have to tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. ASSC, 6 members and now there are 12. I'm totally confused. That's student government?
Yes,
We only
sorry,
have
the
6
Associated Students.
Pardon?
Associated Students. So the student government.
And only 6 members?
No, so we started with 6 and now we're at 12.
Those
The
are
positions,
positions.
yes.
Okay.
And I think total on the actual positions, I think there's 18 total.
Mhm.
So we're pretty close to 18. We're at 12. So we're
Okay,
hoping
so-
we can round that out in the next month or so and be operating as a full student government.
Okay, well done. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you so much for including Vacaville students in your recruitment efforts. That means a lot to me as somebody who represents part of Vacaville. So thank you so much, Dr. B. And I'm so glad that you're on board. I'm very thrilled. And I saw how the way you handled the meeting, the first one that I was able to attend. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are
Dave Vernon.
students involved on all 3 campuses, the Vacaville, Vallejo, and the Fairfield campus?
Are they involved? Sorry, what was your question?
Are the students involved from the 3 campuses?
From my knowledge so far, I think a predominant of our Associated Students members are from Fairfield campus. We have a couple from Vacaville, and I think Vallejo is our next target. So we're hoping when we are there on November 4th for the voting event, we're not just going to table about voting, we're also going to table about Associated Students and all of our student organizations for students to get involved. And we're trying to have more efforts to have events at the Vallejo campus. So working with Brandon and Andrew at ATEC as well to see how we can promote more there as well. ATEC does have the Auto Club active right now, which is really great. And I was talking to their vice president today about some events that we can do at their facility, so that students feel that community of the Fairfield campus as well up in Vallejo.
Okay. Have they considered doing something like Zoom where they could still be in a room at the Vacaville campus, also the Vallejo Center, while they do in a room at the Fairfield campus via Zoom, and all 3 campuses, the students would be able to participate. That way they won't have to worry about trying to rush from class and rush down to Fairfield. I think a lot has to probably do with transportation.
Yeah,
You don't have the students from the other 2 campuses.
Yeah,
But
our
by
meetings
Zoom or
are
something, they could be
Zoom.
more engaged.
Yeah, our interclub council meetings are Zoom, so we do have some folks join via Zoom, and our associated student meetings are Zoom too. We're definitely still trying to do hybrid to accommodate to folks who either commute or have work in between or
Right.
things like that, because And also all three campuses. I mean, I actually went to the Vacaville campus this morning to do their ofrenda, and I drove back here and I was like, wow, that's a little drive. So I definitely understand like the commute element of it for
Okay.
students.
Thank you.
Did
For
you
your
not
response.
think about taking the bus? I'm sorry.
Oh yes, that one's short.
I can hear her.
So, and there were a lot of cars in the parking lot tonight. Very happy to see that. So thank
All right,
you.
thanks very
One
much.
more question? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Oh, no, you start.
I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you. One more question?
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you so much. I particularly was listening. You said that you're going to help with trainings and budget and savings. So, because it's been my understanding that some of our students, when they come here, have never really been exposed to how budgets work and, you know, running an organization. So I was going to ask if when you're going to be holding these, are we welcome to, you know, maybe attend some of these trainings because they sound quite interesting and informative.
Yes, definitely. I'm hoping in this towards the end of spring is to launch the first series, so like a transition 101. I'll probably call it a little something catchy, because that's when the leaders are going to start leaving, and the people who are being voted in will be there. But definitely, I can send that information out, and you all are more than welcome to attend. And I can also record it too if you're not able to make it.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Please let us know. Thank you.
One more question.
I understand in the busyness of the day, you couldn't have taken the bus to go to Vacaville, our circular bus that goes through the campuses. But if you can, in that student handbook, push that bus, because we really are trying to get all three campuses connected. And I know that there aren't that many runs today yet, but the more we get people asking for it, the more we get a reason to actually make it so that, you know, they run every 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever.
Definitely.
It's really, and please,
Yes.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, trustees, for your questions, and thank you for your
Thank
presentation tonight. At this time, we'll move on with the report section with the Academic Senate report presented by Dr. Joshua Scott, whose timing is perfect.
As always, yeah. Good evening. I'm not a doctor though. I just
You
just
are
have a
now.
master's degree. But thank you. I know I have a certain look about me. Yeah. Okay. So there's several things to update you about. The first is we had, as you know, a flex event last week, right? Last Tuesday. Lots of really great events. At that kind of throughout the day, we had Puente came and gave some really excellent presentations, really focusing on how we can really be targeting students, male students of color, looking at through the sciences, looking through lots of really cool lenses. We also had, I think I might have told you this was coming last time I gave an update, the statewide academic senate, the ASCCC, had facilitated a meeting between academic senators as well as academic deans, and then a lot of other members of the community as well, to really talk about this concept of collegial consultation and how we can really communicate and work well together, especially in really focusing and thinking about hiring, right? As you know, we're anticipating a large hiring year this year, where the collegial consultation is very important for this, and where various stakeholders can really make sure that all perspectives are really illuminated. So that was really an excellent meeting, and really grateful for the partnership with Dr. Butler specifically. And there were, I think, over about 40 people or more showed up to it. And it was really an even mix of faculty as well as administrators and some staff too, and so that felt really good. Chatting with facilitators afterwards, they really felt our community. They really saw some really positive interactions, and they were just impressed that both the faculty and administrators showed up together to really talk about this issue, right? Where it can be easy to avoid these conversations sometimes. And so really feeling good as we're building momentum and moving into that throughout the year. This is conversations we've been having in various ways over the last year, and we expect to continue. we're ramping up again at the statewide Senate level for our plenary, which will be next month, right? We meet twice a year each semester, where we have lots of thematic like workshops, trainings, really talking about teaching, and facilitating, making sure all of us as senators are doing a good job in our roles. And also we pass many resolutions. As you know, we, at a local level, I wrote and our Senate endorsed, and then we put forward a resolution about sanctuary campuses, which was then adopted by the statewide Senate. And so then that's something we've been continuing to look at. But this year, we're looking at some, and there's one resolution coming forward, which I'm sure we'll be talking about more, and that's related to SB 98. Right, so that's by next April, all the colleges need to have some sort of plan or process in place to notify students surrounding issues of if ICE or other groups are coming onto campus. And so we, as a college, will be having to start talking about that and building plans surrounding that. And that's something we've been talking about a lot at the state level as well. And then otherwise, we coming up, 2 weeks ago or something like that, I met with the ASSC and visited them. And so really looking forward to working more with Gabby and the ASSC leadership. They shared with us some of their priorities. It was a really good conversation. And then on Monday, some of their leadership and Gabby will be coming to our academic senate meeting to be talking about their priorities. And, it's just a way for us, again, to find common cause and overlap when we're thinking about what we can be really working on this year. Another item that we're going to be talking about quite a bit at our next meeting is textbook costs. This is something we've been talking about and working on for several years, but this zero textbook cost initiative that we're continuing to move forward with, getting more and more programs involved, and trying to make pathways where there's no textbook costs, or at the very least, the low textbook costs, right? This like $25 or under price point. So those are some of the things we've been talking about and thinking about over the last few weeks and heading forward. And that concludes my update.
Thank you. Questions? All right, thanks for your
Absolutely.
report. Next item is under reports as well as the College Governance Council and the Superintendent President's report, both by Dr. Kelly Butler.
Thank you. For college governance, college government has met on September 24th and October 8th. We have continued to update district policies and administrative procedures. That the new policies and revised policies, some have already made it to the board. We have student services on the agenda this evening. We also had at the September 24th meeting, we received a presentation on staff and faculty multi-factor authentication enrollment with a deadline of November 17th for those who wish to log into their email through the website. And there will be future rollouts after the winter break. At the October 8th meeting, we received a presentation on the Ethnic Minority Coalition's updates to their purpose, mission, and vision, and also an update to their history as it is presented on the website. That concludes my college governance updates. And then for the superintendent updates, I have quite a few, but I'll elaborate on those that haven't been mentioned. A lot has taken place since the last governing board report. On Thursday, September 18th, Solano College hosted the third graduation ceremony at the California Medical Facility. We had several graduates, over 60 degrees awarded, and 60 plus PTK inductees that were presented with their certificates, and trustees Cargo Reed, Kara, and Wynn Greer were in attendance. As part of the Latinx Heritage Month, we had an Undocu Ally Center workshop and an Undocu Ally training on September 25th. Later on September 25th, the SCC Educational Foundation hosted a 5-chamber event, at the Vallejo Center with Benicia Chamber, Solano Hispanic Chamber, Vallejo Chamber, and the Filipino American Chamber. And the last of the 5 is the American Canyon Chamber with about 200 participants with trustees Cargo Reed, Wynn Greer, Thurston, and Young in attendance. We just wrapped up the Solano Challenger Tennis Tournament, October 5th through the 12th. It was a success based on the feedback that I'm hearing. We love seeing the amazing players that come through at the tournament, and also encouraging visitors throughout the region to visit Solano County. On Tuesday, October 7th, we had Mid-Semester Flex. As Academic Senate President Josh Scott mentioned, there were several sessions hosted by Puente, Anapi, and we, as he mentioned, we had a 2-hour session with ASCCC. Also on the 7th, we had the Staff and Faculty Appreciation Luncheon that was part of the Challenger Tournament. We really appreciate the partnership with Kitchell, and we had Trustee Wynn Greer join us at that luncheon. I wasn't able to attend, but I heard really great things about the spectacular free concert that we held in the theater, with an estimate about 150 in attendance, and just an event where families and the local community could come together and spend time listening to the music. On Friday, October 10th, the college hosted the Rising Scholars convening. I can't remember if this is the second convening. We were at the Vallejo campus. The convening was in partnership with the Urban Strategies Bay Area Systems Impacted Consortium, otherwise known as BASIC. The convening brought together rising scholars programs from the California community colleges. The CSUs and the UCs call them something a little different. So Project Rebound, I think, is the CSU program, and Underground Scholars is what the UC calls them. We also had several schools from Northern California join, several schools from Southern California, and one school from Utah that joined. It was a really great event. The theme was Beyond Barriers, Uniting for Education and Possibilities for the Future of Incarcerated Youth. The convening brought together educators, advocates, public defenders from Solano, Alameda, and San Francisco, probation leadership from Solano and Alameda counties, and partners from throughout the Bay Area who are committed to support student success, justice systems reform through education, and collaboration across organizations. It was a very robust meeting. VPs Neely and Williams were present, and just to witness, I think, the collaboration with the offices, even Solano County Office of Education. It was just a great way to kind of demonstrate what collaboration can do. Friday evening, the Puente program sponsored a lively band night. We had close to 200 students, families, and friends celebrating. I got to see video of people dancing in the quad to live music. Erwin, were you there? I'll yield some time for you to share, because I think people had a good time. I got to see really great activities. I'll say my last item, just because we were all there together. The Solano Community College Scholarship Foundation had their 53rd ceremony last night. 223 scholarships totaling almost $185,000. And we also celebrated the Yochadihi Wintu Nation generous donation of $100,000 with 75 recipients who were, I think we had about 40 students joining us at the reception. And we had trustees Wynn Greer and trustee Cargo Reed who were able to join. So that was really nice. But that concludes my update.
All right, thank you.
Instead of concluding, can we yield some time to the student? Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, some feedback that we got about
our question, like, what did you enjoy about the event? One student said, I loved it very much. I was very surprised everyone came out and danced. Someone else said the community building aspect, seeing everyone come together and we also created a safe space to dance and connect. And then someone else said, I enjoyed the great choices for food and the banda was very friendly. And then we also asked, would you attend if we had another banda night? And then the people who responded up to now did say, like, all agreed yes. And then some more feedback would be, I really enjoyed the event. I've been to many banda nights in other schools, and this one would be the most fun. Someone else said, I think overall the event was a success. The turnout was amazing, and the community was left wanting more of these types of events. Overall, it was great, and we should definitely have another one. And yeah, it's basically mostly like bring back another one.
Have another one.
Yeah, and I will give some remarks. It was really meaningful. It allowed Puente Club to get into leadership and organize this event as students. And it also, for me, it meant a lot because I've been trying to find some way to cope with all the immigration stuff going on in the news. And I felt like the event we were doing was also establishing that, like, we Latinos belong here.
Yes.
And yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks very much. For your,
I'm Erwin Ramirez.
Thank you, Erwin.
thank you. Coming up.
Planning on it.
So we're going to move on to item 11 on the agenda, which is a consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion. There's no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed. Time will be provided before the vote for clarification questions without removing an item from the consent agenda. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a
I move for approval of this consent agenda.
I'll second that.
So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. There are no items removed from the consent agenda. So we're now on to item 13, non-consent agenda items, action items, the first of which is under Human Resources, presented by Director Salabate. Good evening.
President Honeychurch,
Yeah, sure.
can I make a motion? I think we it'd be appropriate for us to consider all of the negotiated contracts and MOUs increases together so that one, we can discuss them all together, and then two, we can approve them or disapprove them all together. So I would like to make a motion for item 13A, B, C, D, and E.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Let's move and second. Should we have the presentation before the vote? Good. All right, thank you. So, Salabate.
Thank you, President Honeychurch, members of the board. I do want to start out. We did have, I was notified today, CTA was planning on joining us this evening, the leadership of our faculty union. They were unable to because some things had come up, but they did ask me to pass along their gratitude to yourselves and Dr. Butler. Again, they want to reiterate that they continue to feel the collaborative relationship that we've built over the years, and they were very appreciative of the conversation related to the one-time only money and the continued practice of sharing any year-end savings with our bargaining group. We were able, with the help of VP Wheat, Dr. Butler, and cabinet members, to get agreement with all of our groups, employee groups. You will notice the VPs are not specifically called out on here. You will be seeing an agenda item in November that will bring the VPs because they're on their own salary schedule, but it will be a very similar type agreement that was reached with that group as well. Again, we continue to use our IBA principles and our IBA practice to meet the interest of our bargaining units and our other employee groups on campus. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions?
Not a question. I just wanted to compliment that, to negotiate all of these and be able to bring them in all together and, and with, really positive vibes for throughout. I just really appreciate the work. And I know that's not an easy task. So thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks for the presentation. So There's a motion and a second, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, and thanks for doing those all in one motion. Next item is Finance and Administration. Vice President Susan Wheat is presenting the following facilities items. First of which is a change order number 1 for an air and lube system. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, President Honey.
I'm not making any comment about that.
Members of the board, this is actually one type of change order that I love bringing to the board because this is a closeout of a project and a credit back to our reserves in the bond. So we're asking the board approve this money coming back to us.
All right, thank you.
I
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
make a motion to approve.
Moved and seconded to approve the change order number 1 for Auto Tech Vehicle Exhaust Dyno Project. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed. Next item is a change order as well. Number 2 for Matrix 8 HG.
Yes, thank you. This is a change order that we're requesting for our building 1200 and 300 hydraulic vault systems. There was a valve that we needed a different valve than what we originally anticipated. So this is a change order for a new valve that is specific for our hot water system. So that you know the valves that we already received that won't work, we will be using them on another system so that cost won't be wasted. It'll actually save us money on another project. So we're asking the board to approve this change order for the new valves.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the change order number 2 for hot water?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is a change order number 3 for E.F. Brett and Company for the modernization project.
Yes, thank you once again. This one's a little more expensive, lack of a better term, but there's a lot of different things that go into this change order to E.F. Brett and Company. And this is for our Building 1600 modernization, which is for Cosmo and some other classrooms in there. The majority of it is for electrical changes needed in certain areas due to where the furniture and the Solano areas are for our Cosmo program. There's also a frame replacement for a door because the original one was interfering with, again, furniture that was in there. So they had to replace the frame on that doorway. And then the last one, we thought we were going to have some savings in this project with saving some of the drywall and being able to reuse it. And unfortunately, as they were taking out the old drywall, not as much of it was as salvageable as we thought it would be, both because of the time that it's been up there, some abatement issues with what was used at the time that it was put up. So while we thought we were going to have some cost savings, there's actually some additional costs now for additional drywall. So we're asking that you approve this change order.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this change order number 3 for E.F. Brett and Company?
I move for approval of item
13H.
I'll second.
13H.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is 13I, a contract award for Pierce Incorporated for electrical vault lid replacement project.
Yes, last one for tonight. We are asking the board to approve this contract to Pearson Company Incorporated. These are for electrical and communication vault lids at our 300 building. Pierce submitted the lowest and most responsible bid. We're asking for you to approve it.
Thank you. Is there a motion to?
I move for approval of item 13I.
Is there a second? It's moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion is approved. Thank you, Vice President Wheat. Next item is under Academic Affairs, presented by Vice President David Williams, and it's the acquisition of retired vehicles.
Thank you, President Honeychurch and members of the board. This is a very exciting MOU. The Department of Consumer Affairs, Bureau of Automotive Repair, approached the college with a plan to loan us vehicles for use as training in our auto technology program. by which they would give us cars that are no longer being used. They would loan them to us for a period of time. We can use them in teaching our classes, and when we're done with them, we will return them to them for dismantling at no cost. In the past, we've had to purchase vehicles or rely on donations from members of the community. So this is a really exciting MOU, and we're hoping that you will approve it tonight.
Is there a motion to approve the item?
I move we approve 13I.
Second.
Isn't it J?
It's
I think it's
13J.
J.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread. 13J.
All right, thank you. Was there a second? All right, been moved and seconded. Any questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 13K is a curriculum action, also presented by Vice President David Williams.
Yes, as we do regularly, these are items that were passed or approved by the curriculum committee. There's a number of activities related to new courses and updating courses for common course numbering. We're asking for your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the curriculum?
I'll make a motion to approve item 13K.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve 13K, the curriculum action. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is student services presented by Vice President Lisa Neely, the first of which is a contract renewal for child development services.
Yes, thank you, President Honeychurch, and good evening, members of the board. So this is a continued funding application as part of our California State Preschool Program. So this is something that we need to do to submit the application for the 26-27 funding year. This is something that we do as part of our regular relationship with them. This allows us to continue to provide early childhood support and education for our local families. It would cover, it's to the tune of about $785,000 in terms of the worth of the application, which we rely on to support somewhere in the neighborhood of about 75 children between the ages of 3 and 4. So this is for our preschool program. And so we're asking the board to allow us to submit a continued funding application.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the contract for renewal for child development services?
I'll second that.
So moved and seconded to approve the contract renewal for child development services. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I'm sorry. It doesn't affect my vote. I was just wanted to say, like, at one point years and years ago, we had a presentation, and it's been a long time, so I wonder if we might be able to get a presentation. It doesn't have to, I mean, there's no time frame that I need to buy, but like just sort of in the next year, that kind of explains like all these different funding streams, because we do kind of approve them as we go, and like it'd be nice to just be like, okay, this is how many spots and how many are funded, and so that we know a little bit. That'd be great. Yeah.
Question.
Sure, go ahead.
And it doesn't affect my vote either. Well done. Thank you so much for this. This is a great, anything you do for the children in that program is wonderful. And just a reminder that Vacaville and Vallejo could use a similar option sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think it.
Oh, another.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do we have any data on the young people who went through our child development programs at the college later on became students here? Have we collected any data on that? Be interested.
We can check and see. I mean, I know certainly anecdotally there are a lot of folks that went through the program that either became Solano College students. Some of them have gone back and actually are employees of the Early Learning Center. So there's really a long trajectory of folks who've gone through their education and come back as employees. But we could see if we could find, we'll work with the research office, happy to work with Dr. Butler to see what we might be able to, elucidate on that piece.
Thank you. So the motion, there was a motion and a second, and the board approved it. Thank you for those comments. Next item is a Student Services Board Policy Update.
Thank you. Yes. So this is hopefully a reminder of what you all would have reviewed previously as an information item that's come back now for approval. And this is a selection of some of the Student Services 5000 series board policies. It's actually 4 are policy updates and 1 is a new policy proposal. So we're asking for approval of the board to be able to update these and memorialize the changes and the updates.
Thank you, Vice President Neely. Is there a motion to approve? the Student Services Board policy updates.
I make a motion to approve 13M.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next item is 13N, the Filipino Heritage Month resolution.
Yes, thank you. And this is the final piece from me, and this is a resolution in support of the board proclaiming October 2025 as Filipino American History Month, the resolution.
So is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I make a motion to approve the resolution, item 13N.
I second the motion.
Thank you. You want to read it?
May I request VP Neely for you to read?
Of course. My pleasure.
Do we take the vote before the reading?
Absolutely. Resolution number 252606. Whereas the Solano Community College District Governing Board honors the heritage of Filipino Americans and acknowledges their innumerable contributions to our nation. Whereas Filipino Americans are the second largest Asian American group in the U.S. and the second largest ethnic community in California. Whereas observance of Filipino American History Month was enacted in 2009 to reflect on the achievements and milestones of Filipino Americans across our nation and throughout history. Whereas with a recorded presence as far back as October 1587 at Morro Bay, California, as the first Asian group to arrive in the U.S., 250,000 Filipino American veterans served our nation during World War II, defended our democracy, started new businesses, advocated for workers' rights, and fought for the promise of a more just and inclusive America. Whereas Filipino Americans make up over 15% of Solano Community College's student enrollment and make up over 12% of Solano County's population, the largest percentage of Filipino population of any county in the United States. Therefore, be it resolved that the Solano Community College District Governing Board proclaims October 2025 as Filipino American History Month. Passed and adopted this 15th day of October 2025.
Thank you. So please call the roll.
Trustee Young,
Yes.
Trustee Boyce,
Aye.
Trustee Thurston,
Aye.
Trustee Wynn Greer,
Aye.
Trustee Kara,
Aye.
Trustee Cargo Reed,
Aye.
Trustee Honeychurch.
Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you for presenting this resolution. Next item is item 14, which is the information item section. No action is required. This is an academic affairs matter. It's accreditation update, which will be presented by Vice President David Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, President Honeychurch and members of the board. I'm here tonight to present you an update on our progress towards meeting the requirements of the accreditation visit that we had back in September. So as you remember, last year we had a visit on September 24th and 25th of a peer review team made up of faculty, administrators, and staff from colleges across the state. That's the peer review process that we enjoy here in California. As a result of that team visit, the commission, the ACCJC, acted to reaffirm accreditation for 18 months and require a follow-up due no later than March 1st, 2026. So full accreditation would have given us a 7-year accreditation, but in the process of reviewing our institution self-evaluation report and undergoing the visit and interviewing and interacting with people across campus, there were a couple of recommendations that came up that we are now expected to respond to. So there are two kinds of recommendations that we can get from the commission. One is a recommendation for improvement. And a recommendation for improvement means we're meeting the accreditation standard in certain areas, but the commission is recommending, or the review team is recommending, that we keep an eye on this, keep looking at it, maybe institute some improvements, and we can probably get better. So that's not necessarily, it doesn't cause us from getting accreditation, but it's something to look at for the future. We got two recommendations for improvement in that visit. One, in order to increase effectiveness, The team recommends the college refine and clarify its comprehensive broad-based system of evaluation and planning. The other recommendation for improvement that we received was, in order to increase effectiveness, the team recommends the college continues ensuring the institution's governance and decision-making policies, procedures, and processes are regularly evaluated to assure their integrity and effectiveness, widely communicates the results of these evaluations, and uses them as the basis for improvement. And by the way, the emphasis in these are mine. They're not, they weren't in the original. So those are things absolutely that we're working on, and I'll refer back to this a little bit later in the presentation. There's also a recommendation for compliance, and a recommendation for compliance means we're not actually meeting the standard that the commission sets for the college. And when you have a recommendation for compliance, you have an obligation to correct that, respond to it. Team comes back and evaluates it and sees whether we have made progress. We got 2 recommendations for compliance. And one was, in order to meet the standard, the commission requires the college defines and assesses student learning outcomes for all instructional programs and student learning services, communicate the results of student learning, and use them as the basis for improvement. So the first compliance recommendation was on what we call SLOs. The second one was, in order to meet the standard, the commission requires ensuring that there is regular and substantive interaction between the students and instructors for fully online courses. And by the way, this document came from is posted on our website for everyone to see, so you can always see our status. So let's talk about compliance requirement number 1, assessing SLOs. So for your information, student learning outcomes for each course at the district are included in the course outline of record. And a student learning outcome are specific measurable skills that students are expected to attain or obtain by the end of the course. Why are SLOs important? So when a faculty member, and we'll talk about SAOs, but student learning outcomes are important for making sure that the students are learning what the faculty intend for them to learn. It helps inform instruction and make sure that students understand their progress in a program. It allows the faculty to measure whether students are acquiring the intended skills. So just as an example, here is a random class, Music Theory 1, which I never took, and looking at the student outcomes, I probably wouldn't pass. But these are things that every course, we have about 1,000 pieces of curriculum in our catalog. So in music theory, they're expected to analyze, notate, play, sing, and distinguish scales, modes, intervals. So this faculty member would teach that, and throughout the course would assess whether students are learning that. So that's just an example of SLOs. Every course has those. SLOs are entered in the course outline of record and assessed, which is our platform for assessment. And it is not always easy to understand. So we have undergone in the last year and a half some additional training to help faculty understand how to input SLOs and how to assess them. So our goals for meeting this requirement compliance is to ensure that every course on campus is assessed and ensure that every faculty member completes assessments. To do this, we've had ongoing one-on-one support for our faculty who have questions about how to do an SLO. Our assessment coordinator, Andrew Wesley, who's a part-time faculty member in music, has been working for the past year and over the summer to ensure that we provide that support for faculty on an individual basis. We've also had a number of flex sessions, and last week during mid-semester flex, we had a special session for full-time faculty who have never done an SLO assessment to help them do assessments for a course, to let them know how easy it is and how beneficial it can be, in the hopes that then they will continue to do this. Now, remember, as we meet these expectations of the commission, the goal is not just once to get accredited. The goal is to establish, create ongoing sustainable practices so that the institution can continue to improve. So this is not a one-time activity. A reminder also that this requirement or this compliance recommendation also included student learning support services. So not just the classes, but also the support services that we provide. And so in those, we is a statement about what a student or a client will experience. So as an example, my own area, academic affairs, we have service area outcomes to produce a clear and accurate schedule that meets our timeline. To collaborate with faculty on curriculum by informing them of and ensuring compliance with Ed Code, Title V, education bills and policies, SCC board policies and industry standards, and to ensure deans, directors, and supervisors under academic affairs have the support and resources to be effective. So we have an administrative program review in order to do these. We have created an administrative program review template similar to the program review template that's done in instructional areas. So far, 17 administrative units have completed that program review. As this was a draft, we're evaluating that template right now to make sure that it's effective and useful and clear and meaningful. I'll be working with the VPs and the cabinet later on to produce a revised version of that template. And then all of the administrative units that haven't completed one yet will now have an revised version. And the goal is that by the end of this semester, all of the administrative units will have a program review so where they identify their goals, they identify their outcomes, and we have a fully integrated planning process across the campus. The purpose of SLOs and SAOs is to close the loop, to make sure that things we learn in our classes, things we learn in our service areas gives us information and data on how we're doing so that we can do better, and that people who request resources or need things from the college are able to get those, and we can use data-informed decision-making in making those resource allocations. The second compliance requirement is ensuring RSI in fully online courses. RSI is regular and substantive interaction. So think about it like this. If you're in an in-person classroom, you're interacting with the instructor, they teach, you can ask questions, they can ask you questions, there's interaction between students as well. In an online class, we want to encourage that same kind of interaction, but it is a little bit more challenging in many online environments. And the commission looked at a number of our fully online classes and determined that there wasn't the level of interaction that was expected. And so we have an obligation to improve that process. After we received our letter, Dr. Butler and I met back in February with the Academic Senate President, Josh Scott, the Faculty Association President, Aaron Farmer, and lead writer Isabel Anderson, who's one of our English faculty members, who was the lead writer on our institutional self-evaluation report back in 2024. She volunteered to write the follow-up report as well. And so we all met to discuss strategies. So to meet this compliance requirement, we agreed to disseminate the regular substantive interaction policy and begin training faculty to help them meet the standard, and to collaborate with the Senate and the union to ensure that RSI is evidenced in the faculty evaluation rubric. SLO completion is in the faculty contract as part of the job description. RSI is not. And so we wanted to make sure that if this is an expectation of faculty teaching online, we are able to evaluate faculty and support them in implementing this. So what is regular and substantive interaction? It's two parts. It's substantive and it's regular. Substantive, some examples of substantive interaction mean providing direct instruction. So if it's a synchronous course, meaning it's an online course, but they meet at a specific time on Zoom, students log in, the faculty log in, and they have an interaction like a typical synchronous course. Providing feedback on a student's coursework. Feedback beyond good job, or okay, or thanks, or keep it up, right? Substantive feedback, feedback on what they're learning. Providing information or responding to questions about content, right? Facilitating group discussion regarding content or competency. So substantive interaction is also faculty-initiated interaction with a student. It's not just waiting for students to ask a question. It's instituting that kind of interaction. Regular interaction, so not only does it have to be substantive and meaningful for the student, it has to be on a regular basis. It can't just be once during the semester or around midterms or at the final. So providing regular opportunity, and this could be office hours, it could be weekly discussions on a predictable basis, and monitoring the student's academic engagement and ensuring that an instructor is responsible for promptly and proactively engaging in substantive interaction with the student, when needed on the basis of such monitoring. It's very complicated. It just means that the faculty members are available to answer questions and keep up with students throughout the semester. In an in-person class, you can identify students who are struggling sometimes very easily. You can meet them after class. Again, in online environments, creating that engagement is more challenging sometimes. And so I think these are really great recommendations. They really improve the experience, I think, not only of the student, but of the faculty member in our courses. And so we're really trying to improve that. As you recall, during the pandemic, when the college as a whole had to pivot in a week from in-person instruction to online instruction, a lot of faculty worked diligently in that week to turn multiple in-person classes into online. We threw these together very, very fast. It was heroic work. We did a lot of training. Faculty did a great job. As a result of that, we need to continue to make sure that these aren't just quickly put together courses, that they're really thoughtfully put together and very engaging courses. And again, that does take time. So I think this has been a good project for us. I taught online, and I know when I was a faculty member, I know that there's a kind of a feeling if you have 32 students in an online class, it's like teaching 32 classes because of you get the individual, you have to provide that individual feedback. It's very challenging. So to ensure RSI training for faculty, we worked closely with the union and to create a memorandum of understanding that the college, through the DE coordinator, the distance education coordinator, will offer RSI training with sufficient frequency to ensure that all faculty have ample opportunity to complete the requirement. So right now there's a requirement. Faculty did have to take, in order to teach online, they had to take 80 hours of training in Canvas and accessibility. We're adding another 6 hours of training in regular and substantive interaction for those people who have already been approved to teach online. And two of our faculty, Laura Mahoney, who's our DE coordinator, and Robin Seitzma, a faculty member in nutrition, created a Canvas course for instructors. The academic deans and myself took this course already, so we knew what was involved in it, so we could assist faculty through it and know what the expectations were. So it's mandatory for all online instructors. It's a 1-week format. It's about 6 hours of training. There is a requirement for faculty teaching online to every year take 6 hours of professional development training in online pedagogy, because what can change in the online world. So we do expect faculty to keep up on their training, and this for this year satisfies that training requirement. In the future, for all new faculty coming to the college, taking that initial online certification, the RSI training will be incorporated into that initial training. And I believe we now have about 147 faculty signed up for that course right now. Some are taking it, some are taking it. We're offering a number of sessions throughout the semester and into the spring. So faculty will have to take this year in order to be eligible to teach in the future. We have also updated our administrative procedure, 6115 on distance education. This will be going through the Academic Senate, since it's an academic and professional matter. That will be going through the Senate in a couple of weeks. It now includes language on RSI. Specifically, each section of a course that is delivered through distance education will include regular and substantive interaction between instructor and students, as well as among students. It also updates the faculty training requirements, including that training that I just talked about. So, the next steps for meeting our accreditation compliance requirements. Continue training on assessing student learning outcomes and service area outcomes. We want to complete the remaining administrative program reviews. This is a whole college endeavor. It's not just the faculty, but we all have a part in this. Ensure compliance around the SLOs, SAOs, and RSI. We're going to write our follow-up report, which is due March 1st. That is being crafted right now with Isabel Anderson. And I will provide the board with an update in February 26th. You'll see that response to the commission prior to our submission in March. And then once the peer review team receives our follow-up report, they will schedule a follow-up visit sometime in the spring. So they'll reach out to us, and it'll be a smaller version of the initial team that will come out and just check on those things that we did. So I thank you for your attention, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Vice President Williams. Any questions or comments?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Wow. When you said that teaching a class, online class with 31 students is like teaching 31 classes, that's pretty onerous.
I think there's a difference. You know, students like online classes because it's convenient. They can do it at hours that are convenient for them. They don't have to travel. Sometimes faculty go into this thinking it's going to be easier as well, but having done it myself, and why back in the day when we didn't have all these requirements, I mean, my online class would have never met these requirements today. It just we didn't talk about accessibility, we didn't talk about RSI back then. It is a lot of work. And I think the faculty that put the work into it can really create vigorous learning. But it is a challenge. And for some faculty, it's not what they want to do. We still have a lot of faculty who prefer teaching in person, and there are certainly some courses that can't be done online because they need that in-person interaction, the physicality of a class or something like that. But yeah, it is significant work, and I applaud all of our faculty who are doing this work to create good learning experiences for our students.
So if that's a hurdle, if it's a problem, or that we are supposed to have regular and substantive interaction, are we talking to other institutions that do this really well? I mean, there are universities that just do online, and presumably they're the experts. I mean, I'd hate to redo the wheel if there's a lot more we can just copy. You know, if someone does something really well, why?
I don't agree that a lot of the online institutions actually do this.
Okay.
I think a lot of the online institutions have sort of very structured, out of the box, push a button and the class runs with not a lot of faculty interaction. RSI is not complicated. It's really just interact with your students, you know, and there are methods to do it. And we just have to make sure we do it. And so in the procedure and in the course, we demonstrate to faculty, here are the ways that you can do it. You know, again, having regular office hours meets the regular interaction requirement. Giving feedback to students on their coursework is something that we would do in a regular course. So it's not complicated. It is challenging. It is a lot of work. Some faculty get burdened by writing comments, and so some faculty have adopted voice notes, messages to students, where they can record feedback in a video and send it to students, and then they don't have to write it out and things like that. So there's some very creative ways that faculty can do this, but we just have to make sure that everybody gets the training and starts inserting it into their classes.
Did we expect that we would have a problem meeting these having these new expectations?
I think we expected actually the improvement recommendations on integrated planning. I think we expected those. We knew we had to improve our integrated planning processes. That's been brought up by the Senate a number of times, and we've been working on that. We knew that SLO compliance would probably be an issue. It's been a challenge for a lot of institutions. RSI, we thought we were better positioned for that, so we were kind of surprised by that. Interestingly enough, one of our peer review team members, her own college got hit with the same recommendation. So this has been a point of focus for the commission the past year coming out of the pandemic because it's an issue across the state.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Presentation.
May I, President Honeychurch?
Of course.
Thank you so much, VP Williams, for your comprehensive report. That was a lot for you to share with us within 15 minutes. I used to work for a for-profit university, and so hearing what you shared with us, I understand. My one question I do have is under the SLO. I was just kind of wondering, thinking about the student experience, if we were deficient in this area, have there been cases where a student comes back and says, I thought I took this course, but this is not what I was thinking of because the written SLO is not what was thinking in terms of what I needed. I'm hoping the answer is no, but I was just kind of curious. That was the one thing that came into my mind thinking about the student experience?
I haven't heard of that. I mean, when a student signs up for a class, they read the course description, which tells the basic outline of the content. They don't generally see the SLOs until they get into the class, and it is a requirement to have the student learning outcomes on every syllabus. And it's a good practice for faculty, and I started to do this towards the end of my teaching career. If you're teaching an assignment or teaching a topic, is to actually identify which SLO that meets for that particular course. For the most part, I would gather that most students don't know the SLOs for the courses that they're taking. This is for faculty to help them understand and make sure that that what they want to teach and what they went across is being effective. Yeah, and actually, let me defer to Josh.
Let me just also clarify. Yeah, so instructors, we're putting the SLOs on our courses, on our syllabi, and we're talking about those. The question here is whether or not we're going through the program called Illumine to record our assessments of those SLOs, right? So in many cases, like I'm English faculty, we have lots of conversations about how well we're doing in our classes, what's working, we share innovative ideas, but none of that is being captured in Illumine. And I think one of the big problems is a lot of faculty were having these conversations, they just weren't weren't recording it in Illumine and uploading it and having that be, as David also mentioned, then shared with deans and with administration so that we're actually using the assessments to do meaningful types of improvements to the college and to the curriculum and things like this. So it's not that we aren't teaching the SLOs, it's that we're not assessing them through a very specific computer program.
Yeah, what the commission wants is us to demonstrate that we're doing these things. And so Josh brings up an excellent point. In the English department where he teaches is a good example of a department that does get together regularly and talk about their courses. It doesn't do any good for a psychology professor to assess their SLOs in their individual section and not share that with the other 5 or 6 faculty who are also teaching that course. So it is incumbent upon the faculty to work together as departments to have those conversations. We have just recently instituted a department chair pilot, and this is one of the things that we think the department chairs can help facilitate because they're having monthly department meetings to make sure to bring this up and say, are we talking about this? As an example, if you're teaching music theory 1 and 2 and someone else is teaching music theory 3 and 4, are they talking to each other to make sure that is the other faculty member saying, hey, students that are coming to my class are having struggles with this? Is there something you can do in the first two sections to kind of reinforce that so that they're better prepared for mine? So those are discussions that should be going on across campus. In many departments they are, and we want to increase that.
Thank you so much, VP Williams and Mr. Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for your presentation.
I appreciate you presenting this and showing where, the improvements are going to be made. I know just from maybe close feedback, I have a student that comes here and he said the online course for at least his course he's taking is improved significantly because the professor will record feedback and give the lessons, and he makes it, of course, when it has to be serious, he'll, and he actually checks back in with the students and encourage all of them in the very beginning to do like a bio and interact and, just so that they could get to know one another. And my family member that first was not at all enthused about doing online, but he's very excited to actually go, and he's taking notes and he's very engaged as of the last couple months. So I know for at least this course that he's taking, if the students would give us some feedback on, how it's going for them, I know from what I see with my relative, it's been a lot of improvement compared to last year. So there's been something new here that the professors are doing to engage the students and make them feel, that they're being heard and make it fun at times, and of course, be serious when it needs to be serious. So.
That's great too. There's a lot of outstanding faculty doing wonderful work in the online environment, so it's glad to hear that. When the commission comes out, they're going to look at some classes and they're going to evaluate them, and we just want to show that we're making progress in these areas. And so I'm confident that we've made significant progress in both of these areas, and I think that the commission will look favorably on us. So I'm optimistic.
Final question.
One more question. Sorry, I hear things and it makes me think. What are the number of part-time teachers that are doing the online classes? When we're talking about teachers, are these all full-time teachers, or are there?
So
obviously
The training requirement is for all faculty who want to teach online courses. And so the commission, when they evaluate the courses, they will only look at fully online courses. They don't look at hybrid courses that are partially online and partially in person. Now, that doesn't mean that in the hybrid environment they don't need to do some of these same things, but in the hybrid environment, the interaction usually occurs in the in-person portion of it. They get that interaction at least on a weekly basis with the faculty member, and so the online portion might not have to be quite as rigorous in that sense. But these are for fully online classes, and so in terms of the number of faculty, we have a number of faculty who've been trained in this. Not all teach online every semester. Some teach hybrid, so at any given, we want all faculty to get the training because, you know, if we get into another pandemic or something happens and we need to switch to online, it's good to be prepared. And so we're in a much better position should something else happen in the future. More and more faculty now have this training in campus.
Well, no, what I'm trying to figure out is how many of our teachers that are part-time, because we're obviously got a big chunk of teachers that are part-time teachers.
Yeah. I can guess, but Sal has his hand raised, so he's going to give you the exact number.
Sorry, VP Williams. We have just finished a report that we need to submit to the state. It's called our FON report, which is our faculty obligation number. Currently, the number of sections that are taught by full-time faculty is at 68%. The statewide goal for parity, it's called, is 75%. So we are probably, and Dr. Butler would have to help me with this, probably one of the better colleges of having our courses taught by full-time instructors. We have currently 300 total faculty, about 142 full-time, so there's about 160 adjuncts. Not all of them teach online, as Dr. Williams has said, but it is, our ratio has moved up significantly in the last few years of classes taught by full-time instructors.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
And actually the number of online offerings has been going down a little bit as we're further and further away from the pandemic and more students are coming back to campus. But it's still a significant portion of our offerings, and we want to make sure that they're outstanding.
Thank you.
All right, thanks to Vice President Williams for your presentation, and thanks for the questions. This is a very important topic. Accreditation is key, as my colleague Amory Young can testify. So thanks again. So this time we'll move on to announcements. Are there any announcements?
I just have one. May I,
Go ahead,
President Church? Thank you. I just, first of all, I would like to say thank you, VP Neely, for putting together the Filipino History Month resolution very quickly. I mentioned it to you last week. Thank you, President Butler, for also ensuring it's in this agenda. I just want to give a shout out to our ANAPI coordinator, a student achievement program coordinator there, Layla, and also Erwin. Congratulations. Yesterday, I saw you go up on stage at least twice to receive your scholarship. And so it's amazing. Thank you for what you do. And also the third young person over there as well. Hi. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of reading the resolution. And also a big shout out to Professor Maria Issa Bautista for ensuring that you guys are here. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Other announcements?
So this week has been a celebration of coming out with the Solano Community College Pride Club and Pride Center. Tomorrow we're wearing purple in support of inclusion and campus-wide anti-bullying. And on Friday, there is cereal and cinema with a screening of the movie Milk and a cereal bar in the library in room 113. This week has also been the California Community College's Undocu Ally Week, celebrating and creating safe spaces for our undocumented students. We have a campus-wide event tomorrow at 12:30 at the Quad to paint your own butterflies and to enjoy snacks.
Thank you.
I have something.
Oh, go ahead.
On the 31st of October, we're having the graduation at the 30th. Is it? Not the 31st. Oh, okay. That's Halloween, isn't it? Okay, the 30th. And what I'm hoping that at the moment we've got 3 trustees that are going. So maybe to get as many trustees as possible. It's the first time we've had that. They haven't let us come before. Yeah, so, and it's a really important program, and anyway, I'm hoping that we'll, another couple of people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis, right?
I have been to that prison. Another announcement, more announcement.
Thank you everyone for your information tonight, and yes, thank you students for being here. We always love seeing you in the audience. It really encourages us and inspires us. I also, with the announcement, it is the Seroptimus event on October 18th at 5:30, I believe it. At least that's what my email said. So yes, 5:30 to 8:30 at the, is it still at the Ulatis Cultural Center? Okay. So we will be having the Seroptimus dinner, and it's Rocktoberfest, and it has local student talent where they'll go and they will play their instruments, and they're going to put on a fantastic show. So if there's still tickets available, I encourage everyone to check it out.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the announcement. Item
Okay.
16 is, there another?
Did you mention in your report, Dr. Butler, the Solano County Education Foundation breakfast tomorrow morning? If some of us would be attending.
I didn't. Tomorrow, the Solano County Economic Development Corporation is hosting a manufacturing breakfast. This week has been the Fairfield Manufacturing Week, and so this will be breakfast in the morning, and then there's actually a showcase in the afternoon for employers and employees who are interested in the field. So. The breakfast is from 8 to 10 tomorrow.
Okay.
And where?
The Logistics Center in Cordelia.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Anything else? No? All right, thank you. Next is items from the board. Are there any items from the board? I think not.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay, so we're now on to item 20, which is the adjournment. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second the
So
motion.
moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Saying that when I get 100.